Hey guys, welcome to our weekly Bacon Cast series. My name is Francis, and I'll be one of your hosts this week, along with Nick
Hey guys, what's up?
and Thomas.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Wait, I don't even. What was it? Was that Spanish? I'll shut up.
Good enough. All right. um. So what's going on with you guys this week? What do you guys do?
I mean,
Some
You
lovely
guys eat any
tests.
pizza? Woo!
Pizza?
Oh, you
Fuck
guys
yeah.
did a test.
Pizza. It makes taking tests so much better.
I got my.
It really does. Like it comes to you. No need to cook. No fuss. Good food.
It's hot. Well, you hope it's hot.
Hopefully.
Wait, so you guys deliver your pizza? You don't go get it?
It depends.
I mean, unless you live next to a pizzeria or some kind of pizza place.
I do live
Delivery
really
is the
close
best.
to. I do live kind of close to one, but
Yeah, same.
it depends if I want to order through them or not.
Speaking of pizza places, there was a pizza place that opened up just like half a block away from my house, like literally 5-minute walk away. And I have been waiting for this place to open a location near me for so long for deliveries because they always have 50% off pizzas. Not because their pizzas are good, because their pizzas are cheap. And I'm pretty cheap.
You're pretty cheap. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I am pretty cheap.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Is it like a chain pizza place or what is it?
It is a chain pizza place. Well, I don't want to mention the exact name because you probably like Google pizza places that have opened this week, and then you'll find where I live. So that wouldn't be
Wait,
good. But
you think people want to know where you live?
eventually when I become Justin Bieber, I'm sure people will go back and watch this
Rich and
video
famous.
and try to Google it.
Try and Google it.
This one chain of pizza stores, they have pizza stores like south of me, north of me, and west of me. And every time I wanted pizzas delivered from them, they just wouldn't deliver, and they would deliver like if you just walked like 2 minutes south, those houses south of the road get deliveries. Me, across the street, I do not.
It's all about that distance.
But now they just opened a store literally like down the street, and the car literally has to drive like 60 seconds and it gets to my house. So I can't wait for these like super fast pizza deliveries.
Except for like the 15 minutes it takes to cook a pizza. So
Yeah, but it's 15 minutes less time than driving, whatever.
no.
Well, I also order from another place called, we have in Canada called Pizza Pizza.
Pizza.
That
pizza.
place, their nearest store is like 4 blocks away from me, and it takes like 10 minutes just to drive down here with like traffic and everything. So that's 10 minutes saved.
True.
Speaking of pizzas, I'm sure you guys know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Reflective solar panels.
Yeah, that was the
was-
first thing
that's
I
I
what
was
was.
totally with you, man. I had you. I got your back, man.
It wasn't even solar panels. It's reflective solar paint. Sorry.
You had one job. You and you failed.
So, Toyota has this reflective paint that they're claiming has the same reflectivity as white paint. And they achieved this by adding titanium oxide metal flakes into their paint. And we all know that heating and cooling a car has a huge impact on fuel consumption.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, unfortunately. And so with more reflective paint, they're basically able to cool and heat a car better, and it saves you money. Although so far they've only shown off this nasty bright green version of it.
What do you mean nasty? That's a beautiful car.
Do you like this color?
Yeah.
And it's a Prius.
Hey, well, wait, are you saying that a Prius is a good thing or a bad thing? Like when you said, and it's a Prius.
I mean, it's that car actually doesn't look that bad. I think Prius gets a bad rap. I mean, the
I
color's
haven't
not
heard
great.
anything wrong with a
but
Prius.
Well, I mean, people are always like, "Oh, you drive a Prius? Oh my gosh!"
Oh, because it's when people think of Priuses, they think of like a hipster, an environmentalist.
No, they just think of a cheapskate like Francis.
Really? Is that what people think about?
But I mean, yeah, they do think about like environment, but you save a lot more money because it's more fuel efficient and stuff. Is it a hybrid?
Do you,
I don't
though?
even know.
Yeah, a Prius is a hybrid.
Yeah.
The problem is though with the Prius, you are paying around I'd say $10,000 more on the purchase price of the car itself rather than the next like economy car.
Yeah.
So are you actually saving money? I mean, I guess that's a like discussion for another time, but it's debatable.
Are you really saving money?
Yeah, it's you have to drive a certain amount per year in order for that to make sense, right? To spend more money on that car.
Yeah. So is that like lime green of the car? Is that like supposed to help or something? Or is that just the color they chose? Good job, Nick.
That's actually the color of paint that they came up with, and it's apparently only available in Japan for now.
And you said they only have that one color?
Yeah, they only have this one color for now, but it's called Thermotect Lime Green. But eventually they're going to have more colors. It costs an extra $350 to change it to this paint.
That's not bad.
So it's like you're paying more money to make your car look ugly.
It
Well,
says the
no,
exact
you're
hue
also-
of green.
You're also obviously trying to save some money for yourself, but then you're also saving the environment. Because the less gas you burn, the less CO2 emissions.
That's true.
I don't get why people are like, oh, it saves the environment. Yeah, okay, so 2,000 people switched to this car, right? So now we're saving 0.0000001% more.
Right, but they
Like,
do that.
the Earth is
They-
already screwed.
Well, no, it's not. There's things we can do if people want to spend the resources. But the thing is, you do this, right? So you only do 2,000 cars or whatever. Well, you're able to study that. Does it work? Do they actually get better mileage? They get more use out of their gas. If that's the case, you can go, okay, all paint is now this paint for cars. You just make it a law.
Well, we know it works because white
Right.
paint is proven to save on
Right.
gas.
So well, that's the thing though, is like, you got to look at it like right now, okay, white paint might be better than regular or another colored paint, but people might not want a white car. Well, if you find a way to provide all the same colors, but with this new paint that makes it better, then just paint all cars with this new paint. You still get your spectrum of colors, but they all have the benefits of, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Saving on the CO2 emissions. And so then every car in the world, yeah, it'll be years down the road, but it's a step in the right direction. And if, as long as there's no, oh, by the way, anyone who sits in this car is going to get cancer, like, you know what I mean?
Car
As long as
may
there's,
induce cancer.
This is a step in the direction of we're going to start growing grass on top of our cars. It's going to be completely eco-friendly.
Why grass? Why not like weed?
Grass is a weed.
Yeah. So if we're growing grass, why not grow something that people actually want? Who wants grass on their car?
Well, I'm just saying grass as in it produces oxygen. I'm not saying grass. Never mind.
plants. There'll be plants.
Right. Just like, remember, have you seen those eco houses where they're just, it looks like it's just a hill and there's like, it's like a mound of dirt, but they
A
actually
hobbit
have a nice
hole?
house. Yeah, Hobbit hole, but they actually have these houses that are like built into the ground almost, and they're really easy to heat and cool because of how insulated they are.
Yeah, they're really insulated.
Like that is an eco-friendly house. So I think like maybe one day our cars will move in that direction, like a super eco direction where it's just a mound of dirt that just drives.
No, because I mean, with a house, you can also look at it too, like it's saving space. Because instead of having like a backyard, you can have a garden on your roof. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit different because you're not
But
going
it's a lot
to drive
harder to-
around a mound of dirt.
It's a lot harder to build down, like dig down and make a
I was
house
trying to make a
than just
joke.
build up. Francis, you're not funny, okay?
And I'm letting you
Just
know
get
it
over
sucked.
I know it doesn't make sense. I get it. It's better for your transportation to be light than to carry around a bunch of dirt. I get it.
They could synthetically make some sort of lightweight dirt.
Lightweight dirt.
I don't know. I'm trying to save them here, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, it reminds me of an article that I read about they were trying to grow, I forgot what it was, like potatoes or something on the International Space Station. And they just like rolled up a bunch of clothes and they pinned them all together. And I forgot, they used something else. I can't remember what it was exactly, but basically they just put some seeds in there, put water, and they just grew what they needed to grow.
Yeah, they've grown plants in space without dirt. Like you don't need it anymore. You just
Yeah,
have
that's
to
exactly it.
inject the nutrients into this, like the stems and seeds and stuff.
Yep.
Because all the dirt is giving it is nutrients. So if you give it the water and you give it the nutrients, you don't need the dirt. But I mean, it's more work.
Ooh, look at this. Thomas the scientist.
Did you guys see the article how they took like algae and some other stuff from like Antarctica and they left it outside the International Space Station and it lived
At freezing temperatures?
so there was like some sort of life there was some sort of life form that was surviving in space.
I'm sure it wasn't absolute zero.
Like,
It must have been like
outside.
the side facing the sun or something.
They just said like that was the experiment was they had it like in a capsule and then they exposed that capsule to space. Like it wasn't inside the International Space Station and it lived.
Was the capsule sealed?
No, like it was
Oh.
like that was part of the experiment was they opened it. So like
That is interesting.
yeah. I wish I knew. I read it. It was a while. It wasn't that long ago, but I just kind of glanced over. I didn't read it. Wish I knew more, but yeah, I thought it was like really kind of cool.
I mean, that leads to a whole bunch of discussion about like microbes and stuff existing on meteorites or asteroids, I guess, before they become meteorites and crashing onto planets. So you can have, if that, whatever survived in that canister that you mentioned, could that have been sent to another planet, landed, and caused life to grow?
All right, theoretically, I mean, who knows? At least that would have survived, whether or not it had. And by like survive too, I meant like the cold didn't kill it. Now, whether
Right.
they were replicating or if they had whatever they needed
Right. It
besides
obviously
the
depends on the
temperature,
environmental
but-
factors.
Right, but the temperature alone didn't kill it. Is what the experiment was. But yeah, I mean theoretically, yeah, you could send it to Mars, and who knows what it would do there.
In a million years, we could have Martians.
Exactly. Man,
That's
probably more than that.
Really interesting.
Yeah, a lot
should
more
just-
than that.
Well, imagine if we could discover how that process works. We can harness it, create our own versions of that, put our DNA into it, send these capsules all over the universe. It might take, a million years to fly to another galaxy, but eventually it'll land there. And in another million years after that, life might start forming.
So you want
And by
Earth
then,
to
we'll be
spread
dead,
its seed
so.
across the universe?
Sure, why not? Maybe that's how our planet was seeded. Just the building blocks of life. Like, have you ever wondered why all these animals on the planet are quadruped?
What's quadruped? Ped.
They walk on 4 legs. Like, why don't we have 6 legs? Well, obviously, like humans have evolved into being bipeds, but I mean, we
have-
still have 4 limbs.
We have 6-legged and 8-legged creatures.
And we have
Spiders-
no-legged creatures as well, but the majority of land creatures are four-legged, right?
No. I mean, I guess if you
Ooh,
want to
sure.
say anything
Yeah, I'd say
bigger, well, no, because like insects outnumber animals
Oh.
by a lot, but like ants are six-legged, right? Pretty sure.
Right, but then spiders are also eight-legged, but
And
I
they're
think
eight-legged.
that's
And there's a
also
lot more ants and spiders than probably there are any animal, like all animals combined on Earth. Like
There's
The
And
lots
animals
of
why
you're
don't
worms.
thinking
all
of.
insects? Why don't all insects have 6 legs, or most insects?
evolution, the branch, whatever. It's more like it seems like the bigger the animal got, the less legs it had.
Because
Almost.
the legs restrict
Do they?
speed. Do they restrict speed? Because wouldn't it be a lot harder to move 6
Spiders
legs?
are pretty freaking fast, man. Have you ever tried to like squash one and you miss and it's all of a sudden like on the other side of the room and you're just like freaking out? Yeah.
And it jumps at you, and you're like,
Yeah.
just burn
F
the house
that.
down.
F that.
That-
F that.
I hate. Have you guys ever had you see like insect on your wall, and then you try to go and kill it or catch it, and you lose it, and for the rest of the night you're kind of like you're trying to go to sleep, but you can't because you know there's like an insect somewhere in your room, and you really want to catch it before you go to sleep.
I mean, I don't have that problem because we have 2 cats. So the cats will find it before we even notice it, and then they'll follow it. So they're just like watching it, like on the ceiling. And if it comes down towards them, they'll like attack it. So,
Do they eat it?
one of my cats has eaten a spider before.
Must taste good.
Yummy.
Yeah, there's some
Yummy.
cultures that do cook them and eat them. So like the big ones, like tarantula-sized ones.
Ugh.
I mean, if you de-haired them, maybe. Because those hairs can get like stuck in your throat and stuff and
Yeah.
make everything
It's a
like,
defense
itchy and
mechanism.
irritated. Mm-hmm. It is.
Hmm. Well, we're talking about mammals, and I was a little curious the other day, and
We don't need to hear about your sex life.
no,
your hand.
okay, that's not where I'm trying to go with this, but
Well, you're like,
Uh,
I was a little curious. Mm-hmm.
well, I was curious about like what is actually the most widespread animal on the planet.
Define
And-
animal. Talking about mammal? Living,
Being a living thing?
Organism?
Because an organism would be like bacteria.
the actual animal kingdom?
I think it's a vertebrate animal. It's anything with a spine, basically. So this doesn't include, obviously, like if you think about insects, there's probably like a bazillion
Right.
insects out there.
Yeah.
I don't think that really counts. So there's this fish called the bristlemouth fish. It's about the size of your finger, and there are billions of them living in the ocean.
Well, the ocean is massive, so I can understand that.
Yeah, but to put this into context, though, the amount of the largest amount of birds is the largest family, the largest species of birds is chicken, and there are about 24 billion chicken on the planet.
Dang, that's a lot of chickens.
Chickens.
Mm.
But this bristlemouth fish is estimated at hundreds of trillions.
That's
So-
a lot.
Right.
Well, do they live at like the top of the ocean or like down in the deep, like bottom of the ocean?
I think they live in a layer of the ocean that's just deep enough so that we don't know much about it. We don't fish it. We don't do much down there. I don't know. I just found it really interesting that there's these fish out there that like we don't catch, we don't eat them, we basically don't interact with them at all, and they outnumber us by so much.
Well, what eats them? Like, okay, so it's the size of your finger, right? So it probably moves extremely fast. So what?
I
even
yeah, I
eats
would assume
them?
so.
What?
And
What would
especially-
eat them?
I have no idea. I'd Google it.
Well, but I'm thinking like there's so many of them that they've got to be in herds. Like they've got to be in massive clusters. You're not just gonna find like one here and there. I feel like there'd
Yeah,
be big clumps.
I would like picture like a swarm of krill swimming around or something, but they're instead of krill, it's these little tiny
Fish.
bristlemouth fish, right?
But they're fast, so what would even eat them? So since nothing that I can really
Slightly
think of
bigger
that's-
fish.
Well,
But
I would
bigger
assume that
fish are
there's.
slower.
I assume they
so-
swim in packs
Not
of like
necessarily.
tens of thousands, so they would be pretty easy to eat if you just open
Yeah.
your mouth and scoop them up.
Right? There's always a bigger fish, and that bigger fish somehow manages to eat the little fish.
So then they just reproduce extremely
I mean,
fast.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe they're
They're just banging all the time and
they're like underwater
cloning
rabbits.
themselves.
Underwater.
That might be the case. So who's up for going out on an expedition to catch a couple thousand of these fish?
I'm down. Pay for it and I'll do it.
We just need to find an investor who will want to spend millions of dollars getting
To
us
send-
ships and resources,
Tell you
submarines,
what.
and
I'm going on
Send
this
us
trip.
to go
I'm going on this
shipping.
trip this summer, and when I'm out there scuba diving, I'll see if I can find some for you.
Put 'em
but
in,
I
like, a
think this
little
fish
cup.
is thousands of feet down, though. It's not
Oh,
in like
well,
the
fuck that
level
shit, then.
normal levels. That's why humans don't interact with these fish. We barely even see them. We don't know anything about them even. They're in a depth that's so deep that you can only get there in like pressurized submersibles, like really, yeah, specialized equipment.
So if they're
Well,
1,000 feet down, what's 2,000 feet down? Think about that. Maybe there's something else that's even more numerous.
we don't know so many things about the deep parts of the ocean. Like they estimate there's still thousands
really
of
don't.
species of fishes and different animals that live in the ocean that we haven't even discovered yet.
It's because we can't get down there. Like the deepest place on Earth, like Marianas Trench. Like how deep is that? Like 13 kilometers deep or something? Like we can't even get down there, even if we wanted to. Anything we send down there just gets crushed. I think there's been like a handful of probes that they sent down there, but that's about it. Everything else we know about that is just scans that we've done from the surface.
Its elevation is negative 36,000. That's really, really deep.
36,000 what?
36 feet.
It's 36,000 feet below sea level. Yeah. Or 11,000 meters for you Canadians. France.
11,000. So that's 11 kilometers.
I mean, I'm rounding up a little bit, but not
Which
really.
is pretty much 6.5 miles.
Right.
6.5 miles down.
That's pretty fucking deep.
That's massively deep.
So, like, I'm sure there are fish species down there that we've just never heard about, never seen before, ever. And we have no possibility of ever discovering them aside from just sending probes down constantly to, like, take a peek.
Well, you said it was 36,000 feet?
Yeah.
That is deeper than Mount Everest is tall.
Yeah.
Mount Everest is only 29,000 feet.
That's pretty fucking deep.
Yeah, yeah. Take Mount Everest, invert it down below the surface,
The surface.
and go even farther. That's how deep it is.
I can't even imagine the water pressure down there. Like, it'll like
Astronomical.
it'll crush.
There's no light. There's nothing down there.
Yeah, I can imagine like you have like some steel, drop a piece of steel down, or the piece of steel is gonna get crushed in at that depth.
Well, submergibles work because you have this oxygen inside, which is helping hold massive steel from just squishing. You have like air that's built up inside so strong that it's helping hold the steel. Because if you just dropped a piece of steel down that trench, it would just,
Not sure that's how submersibles work, but all right.
I don't know. You're asking. Okay, fine.
I don't think that the air, the air pressure inside will help a little bit, but really, it's normally the shape of the submersible that'll hold it.
Just for
Stop it.
just for comparison, I looked it up real quick.
Yep.
The deepest a human has free dived was 900 feet, but the average human only goes about 140.
Yep.
So, like 140 feet compared to 36,000.
Well, it's because
It's
if
a
you go
little bit
deeper than
longer.
that, you're gonna have to go through. Decompression,
Right.
and that
And the
takes
fact-
hours.
But like 900 feet is like the deepest anyone's gone ever, just without a submersible.
Yeah, and I'm sure they
submersible.
almost died getting that deep.
Yeah.
You
So,
probably need a full body suit, that's for sure.
You need to go like 40 times deeper than that. Yeah. That's
40? What?
is pressure linear or like exponential? Does it increase more rapidly the deeper you go? Or is it like a constant
I'm pretty
rate?
sure it's linear. It's
Constant
basically
rate,
how
yeah.
much crap is directly above you.
Pushing down on your body.
So
Right. So if you go down like one human length, then you have one human length of water above you. I don't know why I used human length as a measurable, but that's what I'm gonna go with.
hey, it's something
One
we can
human. length.
relate to it. We all know what a human size is approximately.
Right. So whatever that
8'9".
amount of water is on top of you, that's how much weight is pushing down on you. That's a lot of fucking pressure, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's because when you move down, you're dispersing the water and it goes above you, so, or around you, and it wants to fill the space that you're in. So the deeper you go, the harder it is. Like the more it's fighting back.
What?
Because it's a lot harder for the water to like disperse, right? I don't know. I'm
What?
just kind of like talking.
Don't science. Don't science.
Don't science. Okay.
All right. So, actually, okay. I'm looking at the Wikipedia article, and it says at the very bottom of the Marianas Trench, there's a pressure of 15,750 psi. PSI is pressure.
Pounds per square inch.
Yeah, pounds per square inch, right? That's almost 16,000 pounds on an inch. On 1 inch squared. That's. Let's say the average car weighs, what, 2,500 pounds? Does that sound about right?
Sure.
So you're basically stacking 6 cars on 1 square inch of material.
Yeah, 1 inch, not like 100 feet, but 1 inch. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what could survive down there, or if anything even does survive down there, but all I know is if you just dropped anything down there, it would be crushed into nothing.
I'm sure something does.
Rock.
How would it survive though? It has to
A bunch of
have
rock.
adapted somehow.
Yeah, adapt.
It's possible, yeah. I
Every
guess.
time we explore something deeper, people are like, "Oh, look, more." No, I mean, life in general, not necessarily like fish.
There might be.
So you're saying
bacteria.
there might be some bacteria, might be some like fungus or something growing down there.
Yeah.
All right. I can go with that.
I mean, who knows? Could be anything. Think about this though. Let's say we do find something down there. Let's say we send like a drone down there, right? Underwater drone goes down there, finds something, captures it. If it were to try to bring it back to the surface,
It would die.
it would explode. Because its skin has got to be tough enough,
Oh man.
right?
Yeah,
Right?
that actually makes
Like-
a lot of sense.
It would expand as you go up, and eventually, like, you got to imagine it's got hard skin, not like flexible skin, maybe. And so it would like, right?
No, you're absolutely right. It reminds me of planes that leak oil and grease when they're sitting on the runway or on the tarmac. But when they get in the air, the parts expand out. So it would be like if we brought something up from down the bottom of the Marianas Trench up top, it would basically explode in our faces.
It wouldn't explode in our faces. It wouldn't make it. It would explode way before it got to our faces.
Well, I mean, we might be able to bring it up a certain point because we could put it inside some kind of pressure vessel, but we would never
Like
be able to pressurize.
Reverse pressurize it.
Yeah, but we would never be able to simulate that amount of pressure. How would we encapsulate?
Not anytime soon. Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to encapsulate 15,000 or 16,000 pounds per square inch. It would have to be something like, I don't even know, like 10 feet thick of like steel in a spherical shape. But then it would have to open up somehow because we'd have to capture something inside of it. It would just be insane.
Yeah. Definitely not anytime in the near future.
We just create a giant 10-foot thick ball of steel that just has one small, like 6-inch opening that just goes right to the middle. And we have to just like somehow scoop up one fish and then seal off that 6-inch opening as best as we can. Then yank it up to the surface. And before that thing just explodes and kills everyone, we just like shove a camera in there to look at shit.
Explode and kill everyone.
Well, yeah, I'm imagining like that the pressure inside that ball holding that water, just the water inside, would eventually destroy that 10-foot thick steel. So we would only have a limited amount of time before this thing would blow up.
Is it worth it then?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's possible. Maybe capturing that thing allows us to cure cancer and defends us against all types of radiation because something living that far down, I don't know. It's got some kind of super chemical inside of its body. Or maybe there's something we can discover about like bioorganic material that allows us to go into deeper depths by reverse engineering whatever it has.
So we're talking about like we may be able to use the genetics down there, right? Kind of like to mutate our species. So speaking of mutations, Deadpool came out this weekend. Have either of you seen it?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay, so we won't talk
I've
about
seen
the
all the
actual.
trailers.
We won't talk about the actual like what's in the movie spoilers or anything like that. I just want to talk about the freaking box office of this thing.
Did it make a lot of money?
It made a shit ton. So for those that aren't aware, I guess the people who do the box office, they actually release the numbers on Sunday, even though Sunday's part of the box office, but they're so good at the estimations that they're like accurate to like 1%. So they're saying that over the 3-day weekend, they don't include the 4-day, which is President Day in the U.S. tomorrow, but over the weekend, $135 million.
Wow.
Which
That's really good.
it's retarded good. I believe I had it open. I don't know where it went. I believe because it's a rated R movie, it's like double the highest opening for a rated R movie. It doubled it, right?
What was the last one? Or
Uh,
was it the last reigning champion?
The best rated R was Passion of Christ, which got 370 million.
That's not exactly the movie I was thinking about, but
well, that's worldwide. I'm talking about domestic.
Oh, I don't know then.
Yeah, domestic because Deadpool didn't open worldwide yet. But I think it was Hangover. It was either like Hangover or Hangover 2 was the who
that
had it before.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Let's see here.
I'm on this website that's telling me, and it's just Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Jurassic World, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars.
Hangover
Avatar.
Part 2 was all right. Hangover Part 2 was 85 million. All right, so
That's pretty good.
it's a rated R, comic book movie opening in February, right? 135 million. Domestically,
What was
US.
Deadpool's budget?
Oh, like
There's a lot
I
of
imagine it was a fraction.
special
of
15
effects.
million, like 15 million or something. No, they made it for
No
cheap
way.
as shit.
15? No way.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. But
Just
so
CG alone would be 15 at least.
where do you think? All right, so a rated R comic book movie opening in February. Where do you think it places on the opening weekend domestic US of all time? Where at in the top domestic opening of all time?
At 135?
I'd say
shit, I
top
can't
10.
remember. Probably like 8.
Wow,
Also,
you
just
guys are
found out.
way
Deadpool-
more. It was
Deadpool
58
budget.
million. 58 million.
Yeah, 50 million.
It
Deadpool budget.
ranks number 17. 17 all-time domestic opening. That is
All right.
ridiculous.
So my estimate was a little off.
Yeah. But I mean, and obviously I think we all realize because you mentioned it, like it was the marketing campaign. Like the marketing campaign was ridiculous for this movie.
Yeah, it was. They did the Super Bowl thing.
They've
They
done
did the
so much.
Valentine's Day thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that have you guys seen like the pictures and stuff like that where they make it look like it's a romantic comedy
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff
not.
to like trick your girlfriends and stuff? And then did you guys
Oh,
ever see
yeah?
did you guys ever see the Halloween one
Mm-hmm.
with the little
I don't remember.
kids?
Might have.
It's like a bunch of little kids dressed up as like the X-Men, and Deadpool's like treating them like they're the actual X-Men. It's classic. If you guys haven't seen it, you need to go look it up. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Plus, he's swearing at like a bunch of kids and stuff.
So how was the movie though? Like, was it good? Is it worth seeing? Or was
Oh
it
yes.
like a big
Oh
flop?
no. Oh hell no. No
Well, just
way,
judging by
shape, or form.
Nick's reaction, it's got to be worth it.
Yeah. So as a Deadpool movie, almost damn near perfect. As like a superhero movie, really damn good. As a movie, I could see how some people may have issues with it, especially if you don't know the character.
Yeah.
But it's a great movie. Now, it's an R movie.
Yeah.
It's R. Like they had to delete some scenes because they wanted to rate it NC-17. So
Did they put those deleted scenes back after it wasn't NC-17?
no,
Oh, damn it.
they might be. Who knows? Maybe on the Blu-ray.
I hope so.
but-
Extended edition or director's cut or whatever.
It's like, but like the funny thing is, well, not kind of funny, kind of not funny. Parents are already like, they're like, oh, it's a superhero movie. It's rated R. Well, there's maybe just some blood or something, right?
No. There's like
And so like people have been taking their kids to this movie. There's
Are they allowed
hardco-
to?
Yeah, rated R in America is you just have to have a parent buy your ticket, pretty much. Actually,
Yeah.
I
What
don't
kind
even,
of broken ass system is that? You can't do that in Canada.
NC-17 is you have to be 17 or over. You can't have a parent buy you your ticket. I don't know if they have to buy your ticket or if they actually have to be in the movie with
they
you.
have to be with you. They have to be
Okay,
with
so they
you.
have to be with you in order to see a rated R. And then, because like if you use the word fuck more than once, it's rated R. It's instantly rated R. So if it's a movie just with some foul language, it may be perfectly
it was
fine for kids
twice.
to see. No, it's once. You get one F word.
Really?
Yep.
I thought I heard more. I thought I heard it twice in The Martian.
No, pretty sure it was only once. Unless if they, they may have changed it. Who knows? But it used to be once. You would get one F
The
word.
point is,
So,
it's very little. It's
yeah.
like one or two.
But
Well, I'll agree to disagree. I
yeah,
think
parents
it's
are
twice.
taking their kids to see these movies, and like, I mean, there's like hardcore sex scenes, right? Lots and lots of violence, lots of foul words, strong language. And while a lot of the jokes probably go over kids' heads, it's still like, do you really want your kids exposed to this? But anyways, so
Is it
don't take your
funny?
kids.
Are the
moral of the
jokes
story.
good?
Yes, hilarious. I mean, are you
Deadpool's
familiar with the?
girlfriend is Adriala from Stargate. Just dropping some knowledge on you.
From
Well, I know like some of my friends tried to get in and they got carded. Like there are people actually carding this movie.
They card any movie that's rated R.
Not where we live. Like usually it's just like, whatever.
Well, you got some broken ass
You're
theaters.
probably good. If you look like 12, they won't let you in. But if you look pretty close, they won't card you. But This movie, they're carding like everybody.
Well, they should be carding for any movie that's rated R, so they're
Right.
doing their jobs.
So more of the story is don't take your kids to see this movie. It's not that kind of superhero movie. In fact, it's not
That's
a
a good
superhero
thing.
movie. Yeah. No, which it stays true to the character. And like
They
break
breaks the fourth wall. all
Oh
the
my
time.
god. So there's so many good jokes. Like when you guys can go see it.
All right,
It's
save it.
yeah, oh yeah, I'm not going to give away any of the jokes. You're high. Go see it. But I like that's just for those people who aren't familiar with box office numbers, like a rated R movie getting that it was projected to only get like 50 million, 55 million, and it got 135 million. Like that's just crazy. When they released the report today, I was completely shocked. Understandable, like it makes sense,
I
but
think people
still
are
completely
looking-
shocked.
For something
Plus-
different.
Plus, Zoolander came out this weekend. That only made 15 million.
Well, that movie
What
looks
is
like a piece of shit.
Zoolander?
Yeah.
I haven't even
What?
heard of that. What is it?
You've never heard of Zoolander?
Oh my god.
No.
Oh, he's too young. He's 10 years old.
Well, when did the first one come out?
Probably 10 years ago.
2001.
10 years ago.
Holy shit. I'm
Yeah,
old.
15 years ago. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I was only 1 year old. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh Jesus.
You feel old yet? You feel old, Nick? You feel old yet?
Yeah, a little bit. Jeez.
Yeah, Zoolanders. It came out like 2 years ago.
No, I know it didn't come out 2 years ago. I know it was older, but still. But I mean, that's one of those like a lot of people. I was never a fan of the original Zoolander. I thought it was but like a lot of people love it.
It had its jokes. They had its like.
Yeah, and like a lot
What
of
is
people.
this? A center for ants?
Yeah. But a lot of
get
people
it.
did. They were excited with Zoolander 2's coming out. Hell yeah! And then I guess
Yeah, for the first
people
5 minutes until you realized, oh wait,
and then people like were seeing the early screenings and stuff like that, and reports are getting out that it was just a complete piece of shit. So
just from the trailers, you could tell it was a piece of shit. It was like a bunch of old, washed out actors who couldn't find a better job.
Oh, just throwing some shade.
I'm sorry, but I like it. That's what it looked like. Well, while we're on the subject of movies, 4K Blu-rays are coming out March 1st. So at this
fancy.
point,
They already have
that's
4K TVs, right?
about 2 weeks from now. Yeah, but that's where it gets a little weird because a lot of people buying 4K TVs don't realize that the majority of
Nothing
4K TVs
that high.
out there. Well, no, it's not that. It's that their TVs don't have HDMI 2.0. So they're only able to display 4K videos at 30 hertz or 30 FPS.
Yeah.
So it's just bad for everyone. And as of right now, there's only 2 Blu-ray players that can actually play Ultra HD Blu-rays. One's from Sony, obviously, because they own Blu-ray, and one's from Samsung. And
Well,
they're both like $600. They're ridiculously expensive.
Jeez.
When did they start filming in 4K? Because if the movie wasn't filmed in 4K, if you buy a 4K DVD of it, you're just spending money because it's either not going to be in 4K or they tried to boost the resolution and it won't work. Right? So you have to be filming in the 4K
I think
already.
a lot of like AAA titles are normally filmed in 4K or higher. But you are right that I think the industry standard right now for digital cameras, movie digital cameras, is like 2.5K.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be getting like a 4K Blu-ray or anything for a long time until it's more generalized and everyone's doing it. I don't think it's worth it.
Well, I didn't even know people still bought Blu-rays.
I don't buy Blu-rays.
Exactly.
Just a heads up, the actual IMAX cameras film at 18K.
Dang.
So
Okay, how many movies do you know actually use IMAX cameras throughout the entire movie?
well, throughout the Avatar was the only one, I think.
Right, exactly.
that's
because
used
those
for the entire
cameras are
movie.
like $100,000.
Yeah.
You can't have those cameras for like an entire like 6 month or 1 year
I was
shooting
just
period.
saying, God.
I know, I know, I understand, but I'm just
No,
saying,
but
like,
And that's why the
Um,
Avatar budget was 237 million.
Yeah.
That's why it costs
yeah.
so
Well,
much
they're
money.
making
And all the
like what,
effects.
4 more movies like coming out next year, I think, starting next year,
Really?
and every year after. Yeah, there's Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5, I think.
Avatar came out in 2009.
Yep. And it's taken them years and years to get the next ones up, so that means they're probably gonna be really good or just really expensive.
Well, did you guys like the Avatar? I thought it was okay. I didn't like drool over it though.
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty standard
Yeah.
story, just set in a fantasy environment, but the story itself was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty bland. The story was pretty bland.
And I mean, it looked beautiful, especially if you went to an IMAX.
Oh yes,
of it.
definitely.
I mean, it looked absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think at the time, all the manufacturers were trying to push 3D televisions, and when that thing came to Blu-ray, it was just everywhere. They were just like, Avatar this, Avatar that. It was amazing, but it just, as we all know nowadays, 3D was a fad. So, oh well.
Yeah, 3D
think it-
TVs not worth it.
No.
They created a new like shooting system when they did that movie back then. That was what, like, I mean, if the movie came out 2009, they must have started shooting in like 2008, 2007 or something, and that's a long time ago, and they were working on that technology. Basically, they had like face cam, which a lot of movies do that nowadays, but they did it back then.
And they had like all these like dots. They were like suits with dots everywhere, so you could map the animation to the body movements, like white balls.
Right. Well, that's actually a different technology. I'm not sure if they use that technology. I know for the face capture, they used a different system than what we're used to seeing with the face cams. I'm picturing like Jeff Bridges doing Tron when he did the face cap for that. That's like a more modern way of doing it. They did it like old school with just like their faces and just like nothing, just a camera on them. So someone actually had to go in there and literally plot points on their faces and do all that work.
Yeah. Well, I think the next big thing in like movies is going to be getting those like drone shots, like using drones to take new videos from new angles and stuff.
But that's not new. They're already doing it. Have
Well,
you watch the last few seasons of Mythbusters? They use drones for everything. All their explosions are filmed with drones in the air.
Yeah. But I mean, drones are getting better and better, like all the time. There's actually like, they're using drones to pull people now on snowboards. It's called drone boarding. And like, you take a drone and you attach those ropes they use for like water skiing and stuff, and they pull you on like a straight plane of snow, and you can drone board with them.
Yeah, I can picture that because they use large style drones to hold movie cameras, and those movie cameras can weigh 100 pounds.
Yeah, and all you need is that like initial push, and then the drone is just, it won't have to do as much work. And it's kind of like,
But
there was like wind
mean,
skiing
even if it
with, like,
wanted to, it
kites and stuff.
like with some of these drones, you could like lift a small person off the ground. They're pretty damn powerful and dangerous at the same time.
Well, wasn't there a drone car released like a month ago or a couple weeks ago?
Yes,
Where,
during
like,
CES,
It could hold a person?
Yeah, it basically looked like your average like parrot drone, except that the rotors could flip up when it was parked, and it had a cabin that you sit in. But basically, it was a quadricopter without any controls on the inside, just sort of a point and click system where you just tell it, go here, and it would lift off, fly you there, and land.
Yeah, I don't think I'd trust that.
Yeah, I don't think I trust that either. Like, it would need
Like-
some kind of joystick, some kind of pedals that I can like somehow like take control if I had to.
But it's that flying or you flying. And I don't know how much I trust, like, people can't drive and they have to like go through all this work to drive. What if we put him in a drone? I would rather the computer fly than like have some drunk guy fly his drone car somewhere and crash into buildings.
All right, then here. Somehow you'd have to build in like a dozen types of redundancy and explain every single redundancy to me before I actually got into this thing. Just like how an aircraft has like triple redundancies on almost every single system in there, like fuel lines and electronics, everything has all types of redundancies in case stuff gets broken.
Stuff does get broken, not if in case. Like stuff breaks on airplanes all the time.
Of course it does. But I'm just saying, like, I want that system, except I want like 4 times as much redundancy. Like, sure, there's one computer processing this information. Give me 12 of those computers, please, because in case 6 of them die, I'll know there's still 6 remaining. And like, same for the wiring. If like there's wiring going under my seat, I want to know that there's also wiring like going on the armrests, the exact same wiring. There's wiring going above my head, just in case half of the cabin gets cut in half, and I still want the signals to reach the rotors properly.
Well, if half your cabin gets cut in half, then probably half of the rotors got cut in half, so there's no need in even
maybe it got
the signals.
Maybe it got cut somewhere else, and I'm still alive, and if the wires were running there'd be no control for these rotors, right? So that's where the redundancy comes in.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Otherwise, there's no way I would trust these automated things. We're getting self-driving cars, and it's a thing. It's coming. Like I said, I estimated in 20 years it'll be a thing that everyone's going to be in. So it's coming, and it's going to be scary. The first little bit's going to be pretty scary. We're putting our hands into like these computers that are unproven at this point.
I think they have to, whatever they do, they have to do it slowly. It can't just be like, okay, and now cars drive themselves. It's going to be, okay, now cars will park for you. Now they'll change lanes for you.
That's
Now
exactly
they'll
what they're
drive.
doing.
Yeah.
It's still, like, when you put that amount of control into a computer is hackable, right? So I can imagine people carrying out like hits, assassinations, just by hacking into someone's car and driving it off the road. That is scary. That makes me want to cry.
I'm just going to take my horse and we'll ride together into the sunset. No one can hack my horse.
That's what we're gonna have to fall back on, right? Eventually, it's gonna be like every single car sold is a self-driving car, and the only way to get a non-self-driving car is to buy like a vintage car from like nowadays.
This car is from the 2015s. It's solar proof, or it's a lovely lime green. It's solar proof, and it's a Prius.
Yep, that's pretty much it. I think as long as there's a good, as long as there's a good stretch of time that these cars get tested, like 10 years or so, and there's been proven that the deaths are not because of the self-driving or like whatever, I think I'd be okay with self-driving cars as long as I'm not like the president of the United States or like someone really important. But in that case, I guess you would probably be able to like take, you know, the presidential chopper or whatever and just fly wherever you want to go with a real pilot.
Right.
Presidential drone.
I mean, yeah.
That's
This
scary
is
as well.
drone one. Drone one. Requesting landing.
What is the presidential chopper called?
Marine
The one you see in the White House lawn? Oh,
Marine One. Air Force One is the
Interesting.
plane. Marine One is the helicopter. Army One is the car, and Navy One is the boat. Ship.
he
He
has
has
a boat.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Like, I don't think he has like a dedicated boat, but if he lands on a let's
Oh, right, it becomes
yeah, the call sign becomes
Right,
Navy
right.
One to signify that the president's on
How
board.
often does he take a boat? I feel like
doesn't
he
Wait,
would
does
just
a boat have a call sign?
like, but I mean, like, he's more often to be on a plane if he's going
Yeah.
somewhere than a boat.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have a dedicated boat. If he goes on a boat, like President Bush during the Iraq War, like he gave one of his speeches on an aircraft carrier. While he was
Right.
on the aircraft carrier, that boat was reflagged as Navy 1.
Isn't there a carrier called like the George W. Bush or whatever?
I don't know if it's a carrier. It might be a destroyer.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a carrier. I mean, I know there is a boat or ship named that.
But it's named after his father. Not,
His father, right? Not him.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. I think eventually we're gonna have one named after him, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
in 20 years
Eventually.
or something.
Yeah, eventually.
To get around to it. It'll be called the 9/11.
George Bush did 9/11.
Is it too early? No, it's good.
No, me and my friends like made a song. It's pretty catchy tone of a George Bush did
Wait.
9/11.
Do you remember 9/11? Were you alive?
Yeah,
Do you really? Were you like 1 years old?
I was alive. I don't remember it.
All right. So when people say, do you remember what you were doing during 9/11? You'd be like, no.
Probably like sucking a titty or something. I don't know.
Sounds about right. Well, Nick, do you remember what you were doing during 9/11 when you
Yeah.
first heard about it?
I was a freshman year of high school in history class when they made an announcement over the PA.
We can now figure out how old Nick is.
You know, actually, that's about the exact same experience for me. I think it was like, I don't know what freshman is. Freshman, I'm guessing, is
Ninth
first year.
grade.
What,
First year of high
what's
school.
the year after that?
Sophomore?
Junior? Sophomore? Yeah, I
Sophomore.
was
Senior.
I was sophomore, and
What
I
kind
remember
of
being
fucked
at
up
the
system do
locker.
they use in Canada? How'd you not know that?
We just use grades. We just grades 1 to 13, or 1 to 12 at this point.
13. What?
What about college?
College, we
Grade
use year.
14
We
to
use
16?
no, we use years for college as well.
What?
Yeah, that's the weird thing because when I watch movies, it's like they say like, yo, whatever name there is, and I'm like, what? What is
Freshman,
that shit?
sophomore, junior, senior.
I only know those because I watch movies, and that's it.
Fucking Canadians.
So where
man.
were you? Where were you, Francis?
Weirdos.
I was standing in my locker, and I remember talking to one of my friends, and same thing as Snipe came over. Well, not Snipe, Nick came over the PA, and it was like, what? I think it was like
Nick came over the PA. He was like, "Hey guys, I'm Nick."
10. I think it was like 10 something, 10:15 in the morning, 10 something. Yeah, I'm in the same time zone as New York, so it came in a little after.
Well, yeah, depending. Did they announce when they got hit? Did they announce when they collapsed? Would they?
I can't remember at this point. I remember I was at my locker. I can't remember what I was getting on my locker. I remember I was at my locker and I was like, what?
Did class
And
get
at first,
canceled? Like,
I didn't.
were you watching the news or
No,
what,
no, no,
what
no. It
happened?
didn't get canceled. It was at first I didn't understand what was going on because, you know, like when you hear something like that on the PA, you're like, oh, something's happening, you know, somewhere else, whatever. I didn't
Whatever?
get a grasp of what. Yeah, I didn't understand
Well-
what happened until I got home at like 3 p.m. at the end of the day, and I turned on the television, and I was like, every news channel was talking about it. I was like, what?
Well, you also, I mean, you got to remember, you got to place yourself back in that time. I mean, the first plane hit, and when the first plane hit, everyone assumed it was just an accident. It was like a freak accident. But then when the second plane hit, people were like, there's no way two planes accidentally crashed into these huge ass skyscrapers. And then
Right.
it got real when they collapsed. Because, you know, you figure hundreds dead turn into thousands dead.
And then the Pentagon got hit.
Yeah, and then with the Pentagon and then the one in Pennsylvania, it was like, no, there's something bigger going on here. And so, yeah, because we were the same way, because it was just it was very broad announcements. And I mean, I went to a Catholic high school, so, you know,
Hey, same here.
they led us in prayers and stuff like that. And
Okay, we
It
didn't
was-
get anywhere near that. I think it's because you lived in the States. We didn't.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just kind of like you know, join me as I say a prayer, and the headmaster said a prayer, and then like the classes, some of the teachers were like, just to keep your mind busy and not think about it, they tried to keep going with the class. Some other teachers not didn't necessarily talk about it, but just kind of talked about things that to keep you busy, but not necessarily classwork. And
Yeah.
then I had a study hall though, like halfway through the morning, and they had the news on in there. But yeah,
You guys had a television in your room?
Yeah.
Lucky
We have
bastards.
smart boards
No
in all
study.
of our rooms now.
that's because you're young and technology. we had one smart board, and it was like in our smaller auditorium that no one ever had a class in. We don't know why they put it in that room because
We had
class in that room.
our entire high school had like 2 televisions that were always kept in like the AV room in the library, and the teachers had to book these televisions and roll the carts into the classrooms for us to use.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah, I
half
remember
of
that in elementary.
our like study hall had it, and then some of the classrooms had like permanent TVs, but a lot of them had like it was like department TVs. So if the teacher wanted to use it, they'd have to roll it in.
That's old school, man.
Now they have like Wi-Fi and like classes like require you to bring like a laptop and stuff. It's like what the hell?
Yeah, I use
That
my phone in
sounds
class, in at least one class every day. So like
Well, that class
required
sounds
to
really
have
boring.
you're basically required to have like a smart device.
Yeah, but don't teachers say like, "Oh, put your devices away. You gotta pay attention" or something?
Not really. They don't really care.
I can
anymore.
imagine like the entire class is just like,
mean,
hey, what the fuck?
When I was there, yeah, like you weren't even supposed to have your cell phone on you during the day. Like you had to, it was supposed to be in your locker, and you'd get in
Yeah.
trouble if you had it out. Like even if you were like
The
in the hall during like between classes, you weren't supposed to be on your cell phone. But yeah, and now I'm in college.
Teachers have kind of
and-
given up. Like in my
Pretty
school, they don't really care anymore because usually if you're on your phone all the class, you just fail the class, and then they're kind of like, it's up to you if you want
Really?
to actually pass this class or not.
High school classes? I don't know, man. Most high school classes were designed for you to succeed.
Not at my school.
For
Not
me
at
at
my
least. I mean, it
school.
was like, really?
Mm-hmm.
No, dude,
All
it
right.
is hard now.
I mean, it was also. I mean, I didn't. Again, so I was obviously it was a private school because it was a Catholic school, but I mean, we were slated as a college preparatory school, so like
Mhm.
classes were. I mean, like if you look at the people who would go to like our public schools, people who were getting straight A's, if they came to our school, they probably would have failed out.
Wow.
Like it required work. So yeah, just
That explains why the transition from high school to university was so hard for me. Yeah, my high school did not prepare me for university life at all. Like, the transition is like in high school they kind of hold your hand, or at least for me. And in university, like no one gives a shit if you do this work or not.
nope. They don't care.
Yeah,
don't care at all.
It literally took me like 2 years to get used to that. That part where the professor doesn't care, the TA doesn't care, no one gives a shit about you at all except you.
They may care, but they're not going to put the effort. Like if you come to them, they'll help you. But like if
Right.
they're
Not going to ask you like, did you do your work today or
Right.
this week or whatever?
They're
It's
just like-
no one's sticking to you.
beginning of the semester. Here's your syllabus. If you have questions, need help, come see me. All right, let's start
Yep.
talking about shit. And they just talk and keep going, and then hand out quizzes, hand out tests.
Yep.
And they just keep going. Like
Yeah, that was the biggest transition. I mean, Iceman, you're going to be, or no, Iceman, Thomas, you're going to be experiencing that in a few years.
Yeah.
So it's good advice. Basically, you're insignificant and no one gives a shit.
Yep.
So just it takes a certain amount of discipline and willpower to push yourself to do that. So just be prepared if you want to go to college or university. Okay, so have you guys seen the new Batman vs Superman trailer?
Which one? The one that came out a couple days ago, or Because I've seen the first ones.
Yeah, it came out like 2 or 3 days ago, and well, I'm not gonna say anything, but let's just check it out and see what you guys think.
Okay.
Airplanes, pew pew.
Speaking of drones, Alfred was controlling the plane.
That is true. And this is the first time we've seen Batman fighting actual regular like henchmen criminals.
Well, you didn't really. You saw like a few cutscenes of him fighting Superman, mostly just the curb stomping.
Right. There's a significant difference between the Christopher Nolan fighting style and this fighting style. This is more of a brawling type of Batman, at least from the scenes that they showed here. And that's from Man of Steel when he's fighting Zod.
So why was all those like asteroids or stuff coming down? I'm confused. Was that like Superman? What was that?
Don't you remember in Man of Steel when they're fighting and they end up going into space, and then there's a satellite up there and Zod smashes through the satellite and they come flying back down to Earth?
So how is like Batman even supposed to win? Whoa, what was that? Is that like a metal suit? Is he Iron Man now? I think he's Iron Man.
It's the suit he designs to be able to stand up to Superman's strength.
Yeah, because I was gonna say Superman can just like he has like super strength, so
You just talked through it. That was the first time we've heard Wonder Woman talk.
That's fine.
I mean she's only Wonder.
I love that scene where Superman just like touches Batman's chest and he goes flying away. Oh man.
That face is like
He stopped
uh-oh.
he stopped Superman's punch.
That looked like a really weak punch. I'm sorry. That was, I don't know. That looked weird.
Coming
It did.
soon.
But
So when is soon?
March 8th, I believe. Is that right? I think it's March 8th.
Must be.
So do you guys think this is gonna be like good? Or what are your opinions? Because
March 25th.
like
March 25th,
a
sorry.
third trailer.
I would say it'll do good in the box office. That's for sure. This is like a new movie in that entire franchise.
It's gonna do pretty big at the box office. It's the first time you've seen Batman and Superman on the same screen. Like, that's gonna sell. I mean, those are the two arguably most recognized comic book characters ever.
I agree.
Like, while Marvel may have a lot of more recent stuff and people may be able to pick them out, everyone's heard of Batman and Superman. Like, everyone.
I agree.
Everyone knows who those two are. So it's definitely
Who's Superman?
I'm gonna punch you in the face. Straight through my mic.
Slap him in the face.
So it's got that going for it. I know a lot of people were pissed off about the last trailer.
When they revealed what's his face? Doomsday?
Well, not necessarily that they revealed Doomsday, but they revealed the scene where Wonder Woman absorbs the blast, and you see like all three of them looking like they're gonna team up to take down Doomsday. And then like it cuts to black, and then it says Batman versus Superman. And it's like you just showed them working together or about to work together.
What did you think this was gonna be?
Well,
like they were gonna fight each other the entire movie?
Exactly. It's called Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. So like
Exactly.
you know that they're gonna be friends at the end, or at least working together at the
Justice
end.
League, you
But
bastards.
people were upset about it because they're like, "Well, you're selling it as a Batman vs Superman movie. Why are you gonna show them?" And I didn't really care. People were really upset about it. And you can see here. You can see here with this trailer though. They went
about nothing.
This trailer you could see they went back to like, no, they are gonna be fighting each other. I think it'll be good.
It's obvious that they're going to be fighting each other, and then they're going to be like, "Oh no, there's this bigger evil that we have to like band together to fight," and then they fight that thing, and they're all friends at the end.
Actually, can you do me a favor?
Or they're super friends at the end.
Do you still have that open, or did you close it?
Yeah, I do.
Can you go towards the end when he's standing in the desert? When Batman's standing in the desert? It was towards the end.
Towards the desert.
I can't do that now, but I can do that in editing.
Well, I needed to see it to see if it showed it.
Well, I can't do that now, but I can do that. Okay.
While he's working on that, while I'm trying to find it.
So yeah, are you talking about the dream sequence, Batman's dream sequence, where he's fighting those flying weirdos?
Yeah,
with Superman symbols.
If I'm trying to see, there was a still image released in a magazine. I want to see if it's the same thing in the trailer or if it's different in the trailer.
What still image?
So you're saying
Like,
there's
what is
something hidden in one of those scenes?
Yeah, maybe it wasn't towards the end. Maybe it was. Where the hell was it? There. Oh,
It was
What, the desert? It was near the end.
like 2/3 into the trailer. The other trailer showed a lot more of that scene
Oh
than
my
this one did.
God.
This
It
one has like a
is-
flash of that.
It is such a small flash.
Yeah. But what did they show you? Do you remember? Or
It's in the sand. It looks like there is a Omega symbol, which with
Omega
the
symbol?
yeah,
What is
you
that
know-
in the DC universe?
yeah, it is there. All right, yeah. So it's at 154.
What does that stand for in the DC universe?
So I'm not a huge comic book reader, like at all. So this is things I've looked up, heard, etc. But between that, the mega symbol, and the fact of the winged creatures that are also in this dreamscape, it's supposed to be Darkseid, which is like a super major villain.
Oh yeah, that's
And
fucking
so
amazing.
the theory right now is obviously this is Dawn of Justice. And so the theory is right now that this might not even be Batman's dream. It might be Wonder Woman's dream. And she dreams this, sees that Darkseid's coming, and that's the reason why she goes and intervenes and is like, all right, you two boys need to shut up, sit down, and learn something here because we got bigger issues to deal with. And
oh my god.
And so the Justice League movie is going to be Justice League versus Darkseid.
Wait, hold on a second. Those soldiers have Superman symbols on them.
Right. Well, that's why they're thinking that it's a vision because Bruce Wayne's he doesn't have visions, right? Batman doesn't have visions.
Well, he can still
That's-
dream.
Right. But that's why they're thinking that it's
It's like a
gonna be-
nightmare of him like, oh my god, Superman's gonna kill us all.
But that's why they think it's going to be Wonder Woman, is because she sees that
Alright.
in the midst of these two battling, Darkseid destroys the world. And so that's
Right.
why she steps in and is like, all right, boys, stop fighting. Bigger issues. But
All right,
either
well,
way,
we'll see in a few months whether you're right.
that part may not be right, but it's a very strong hint that Justice League will have Darkseid as the villain, which
I
is going to
completely
be
love that idea because
pretty fucking amazing.
Darkseid is an amazing villain. And I hope they make it so that Darkseid isn't completely like they don't rip his body to shreds at the very end. Like he's still alive
actually
in some state.
have him be a villain over multiple story arcs.
Exactly.
multiple-
Like he'll
yeah.
come back later. Just
I
like in did you guys watch the Justice League, the animated series, like Justice League Unlimited? They had like Justice
No,
League
I didn't
before
watch
that.
it.
No.
That was a great cartoon series. If you want to go and watch DC stuff, that's amazing stories, the entire series. But anyways, so I'll ruin a little bit of that for you. It doesn't really spoil much. It's just Darkseid gets killed at some point. But then during the series finale, he gets brought back, but he's brought back and combined with Brainiac. So he's Darkseid plus Brainiac in one body, and he has all these like technological advances inside his body as well. So I think that's an amazing villain where you combine two awesome villains and you combine them together and make one super villain. Huh? You get it? Super villain?
Ha ha.
Yeah.
Ha, ha.
I think that's one of the biggest things I dislike about the Marvel movies so far is, other than Loki, all the villains are just for one movie.
Yeah. I
They
completely
defeat
agree.
them all in the way. So like, it's one of those things where like it makes it seem like they can defeat the bad guys so easy And while we know Infinity War is going to be 2 parts, okay, so they have Thanos is building up all this power, and technically, like, I'm looking at it as one movie because they're doing part 1, part 2, so it's one story arc. So again, they're going to defeat the bad guy in one movie. It's kind of like, what? Like, I don't know. I think it feels weird. So I wish Marvel would do it too, but definitely if they do that with Darkseid, actually extend them for multiple movies, that'd be pretty freaking amazing. And also comparing DC versus Marvel, the way they're doing it, what do you guys think about how DC, they had Man of Steel, and they're going into a, multi-hero movie straight into a Justice League movie, or even Suicide Squad, which is still multiple villains. So, like, what do you think about them doing their joint movies first, and then they're going to do their standalone movies later, instead of Marvel, where they did all their standalone movies, and then they did Avengers?
I have no problem with that. I really have no problems with that, because you either introduce the character and give them a long initial movie, or you can just introduce your characters in that one movie where they just all get together and they all kick ass, and then you elaborate on their actual stories later on.
An example, but I'm really curious what you guys think about this. So obviously, like Superman, Batman. Well, we had Man of Steel as his origin. Everyone knows the story of Batman. So there is plans to do a standalone Batman movie. We don't know if it's supposed to be. We're assuming it's going to be a prequel because once he teams up with Superman, what's going on? But we know his story, so it's going to be more of a how does he retire, not necessarily his origin story. But for like Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman's going to be an origin story. But for like Aquaman and who's the other guy? Who else is in Justice League? Anyways, Flash. Flash. So Flash and Aquaman, do you want to see like a back in time, like go back in time origin story? Or do you think it should be like a standalone movie that does take place after the Justice League movie? Or like, do you have an issue with them doing a origin story
what
back
do you mean
in time?
Going back in time?
Well, if they do like an origin story, it's like, we're going to see them in Justice League. And then it's going to be like, well, 50 years ago, this is what Aquaman was doing. Because
they don't have to even do an origin story. They could just have that same character like 6 months later.
That's what I'm asking is, do you think we need origin stories? Because, I mean, how many people...
I don't think so.
And like, so in the Justice League movie, which actually supposedly Aquaman is in Batman vs. Superman, not necessarily as Aquaman, but he's supposed to be in it. Don't know what he's doing or whatnot. Right. But like, so Aquaman, right? Whatchamacallit? What are those guys called?
What guys?
Atlantis? Is he from Atlantis? Or is it just Wonder Woman that's from Atlantis?
No, Wonder Woman's from Themyscira.
Okay. So, are they going to be able to explain who Aquaman is enough in the Justice League movie that we don't need an origin story?
Do we need to know any more than just he's the king of the seas and
he's kind of an obscure character. Not a lot of people know who he is. I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't think it's necessary. Like if you watch the cartoons, they don't explain the entire origin story of every character before they come on. No, they just appear on screen and they're like, he's riding just this giant sea serpent and he's like holding a like a trident. You don't wonder who is this guy. It's Aquaman. He's like,
but there's like kids are like, oh, that's so cool, and they're happy. Like grown up, like older people, adults or whatnot, tend to think a little more. Like, not trying to say kids are stupid. It's just like, you get what I'm saying. Like, they want to like discuss it and talk about it.
Right.
Like,
so you can elaborate more. They want to understand the
world
more.
more. Yeah. Okay.
Like I think like haven't origin stories been done to death? Like every time they reboot a series, like every time they do a new Spider-Man, there's like they do a new origin story. It's like it's
like I don't even know Aquaman's official origins. I don't know. I know kind of who he is, but he's one of the more obscure characters. So if you were going to do an origin story, that would be more interesting than doing another Spider-Man or whatnot. Like, or when eventually Marvel's going to reboot the MCU and start over again, they're going to eventually have to reboot Captain America and Iron Man and stuff, and they'll probably do origin stories again.
That's
It's
in like
we know that.
15 years or something.
Mm,
They had this
Maybe.
entire 20
Will-
plus year plan when they started.
it's all gonna depend. It's all gonna depend how well the population likes the new movies. So like Miss Marvel, Black Panther.
You mean when Captain America dies and they replace Captain America with Falcon?
Well, when they all die, like
I don't know if all of them are gonna die, but yeah, eventually.
well, not
they're
all
gonna be
die, but all
replaced.
retire or whatever. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
they already started to do that with. Well, they had to add more characters for the Civil War to be worth it more instead of just 2 versus 2. They actually have full teams against each other. But they've already started to say like, oh no, there's some Avengers are kind of retiring, some new ones are coming in, and there's gonna be at least
There's all
one
these
death.
rumors about people dying in.
There's gonna be
Civil
one
War.
death in Civil War. There's probably gonna be half of them are probably gonna die in Infinity War.
That would be amazing.
Where
I
do
would
they go?
love that.
Where are they going to go after that? And if people don't like the new characters and they're like, no, I want Iron Man, I want Captain America. Well, they already killed them off. The only way to go is, okay, well,
You're gonna get a black Captain America,
They're going to be like, all right, here's a couple.
What?
Here's
and
a
you're gonna get a
couple-
black Iron Man because those two backup characters are both black for some reason.
Well, they already made a black.
Oh
Iron-
no,
like, backup.
Brody. Oh, he's dying. He's dead in Civil War. 100%.
What?
Oh, he's dead. He's so dead. War Machine gone. He's not
No
surviving
way.
Civil War. They have been shoving it down our throats that he's gonna die.
He's not. They wouldn't show us that scene with him lying there and Stark over his body if he was
There's-
dead.
They're not gonna kill Piper, and Tony Stark doesn't like anyone else. He's the only person he cares about, and so that's gonna be the emotional thing that actually is like, no, this shit is done. Like
What if they killed Captain America and he just doesn't show up in Infinity War?
he's been contracted to work 9 months on Infinity War though. Well, reportedly, he's told reporters that he's shooting for 9 months for Infinity War.
Could be a lie.
It could be a lie, just
never
like Mark Hamill. You guys have seen Star Wars by now, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god.
No. No.
Are you serious?
No.
How have you not?
No. No. Don't say anything. No. Don't say anything.
Could I just? It's not even. It's kind of a spoiler.
Okay.
but
Yeah.
Can I just
Go,
say
okay.
one
Go
thing?
ahead. Go ahead.
All right. He was reportedly shooting for the entire time. He's reportedly shooting for like the entire time. He's in the movie for 2 minutes.
Who?
Mark Hamill.
That's
Oh,
what I was
yeah.
expecting.
yeah.
That is actually.
But
What I was
that's the thing
expecting.
is like he was reportedly on set and filming for months, and he was in 2 minutes of the movie. So they do that. They could be like, yeah, we're hiring him, and he's not going to do anything just to make the punch that much harder when Captain America dies. Who knows?
Hell yeah.
Because no one
Hell
would see that
fucking
coming.
yeah.
Right now, no one thinks Captain America is going to die. Because everyone knows that he's supposed to be shooting for Infinity War.
The thing is, they're not going to show that actual scene with the person dying, and they showed that scene in like 2 of the trailers with Rhodey on the ground with his arc reactor ripped out.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't see who else they can kill to make it worth it for Iron Man.
They could kill off one of the many characters we were introduced to in Age of
He
Ultron.
doesn't care about any of those, though. No one else is he going to be like,
I agree. I mean, if like the Vision died, no one would give 2 shits about it. It'd be like, oh, it's just this guy that we were introduced to in the last movie, whatever. What if, I don't know, Scarlet Witch died, or I don't know.
I don't think they're going to kill her.
Oh, did you see the box art for the Civil War where they showed what's her face? Peggy
I haven't heard of that
Carter's
person.
Peggy Carter's like niece or something. What
Huh?
She's that like Agents of Shield. She's like she was that agent in the first Ultron
Smooth.
movie.
Oh, the
Oh,
blonde
God.
chick?
Yeah, her. Like,
That's supposed to be she's supposed to be related to Agent Carter?
Yeah, she is.
What?
What's her name? What's her name?
Box art for what?
Huh?
You said box art for something?
Yeah, it was box art for like the action figures.
Oh, no.
Oh my god, I have to look this up. This is gonna bother me forever.
I googled box art Marvel because that's really going to narrow it down.
Did it?
No. There's box art Marvel. Are you kidding me? There's like 18 billion hits.
Yeah, that's true.
Is it a particular character? Is it of Agent Carter?
No.
Or is it supposed to be
no.
box art of the relative chick? Or box art of...
It's just box art of the toys. I don't know.
Which toy, though?
Civil War. It's from Civil War. It's just the box art from that set of toys.
Okay, and then what am I looking for?
Oh God, I don't know at this point. I can't even find her credit in the movie. What was the last Captain America movie?
Winter Soldier.
Oh, right. Winter Soldier. She was in that movie too, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
What was her credit though? Was she an agent? Was she?
Yeah, an agent of some sort, I'm assuming.
Oh my God, this is gonna take me forever to find.
Captain America, Winter Soldier, IMDb.
Sharon Carter, played by Emily Van Camp. Yeah, apparently she's on Stark's side. I think that was it. So what if she died because she was in previous movies before? Would
That's
that
still not a connection. And you said if she's related to Carter, that would be more of a hit to Captain America than Iron Man. Although Iron Man is she was definitely like for Shield, and Captain America is technically the bad guy.
Well, actually, I might be wrong about that. What side she's on? Yeah, I don't know which side she's on. Actually, just don't take my. Yeah, don't think anything I say.
Sharon 2 R's.
1 R.
Yeah, in one of the promo arts, she's on Captain America's side as Agent
That
13.
makes sense. So, are they gonna be banging?
I don't know.
It sounds like she's gonna be a love interest.
Maybe. That's kind of creepy.
What that Captain America was into like her like
Great
her aunt or something.
aunt.
Yeah, that is kind of good. You know what? When you like that kind of chick, that like, I don't think. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna say anything more to incriminate myself, but basically, you're into that kind of chick, and you're like, oh, okay. So a couple generations down, you look about the same. I'm still into that kind of girl.
Although they were. I mean, even though it was her job, they were flirting because she was watching over him as the nurse, the next door neighbor.
Right,
nurse.
the next door neighbor. Right. She was the one who said, "You left your music."
It was
playing.
her job, but at the same time, she might have been like, I mean, it's Captain America. Who's not into Captain America?
I'm not into Captain America. Are you into Captain America?
Are you a chick that lives next to him and interacts with him daily?
If I was a chick, I'd be a lesbian. So no. 100% lesbian right here. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap things up.
And that's the end of that. All right.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I didn't.
Yeah, I was just sitting back listening.
Yeah.
What's your input? Tell me,
thanks-
Iceman.
thanks a lot,
Tell me,
Thomas.
Iceman. Are you into Captain America?
Well, if I was a lesbian, no.
Are you a lesbian?
No. I like Captain America. He's pretty good. He's a good character, and I like the actor. So, yeah. I don't know what else you want me to say.
That's it. You're good. All right.
Well, I want you to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Which side is Ant-Man on?
Farewell.
Is he in the newest trailer, the final trailer? Is he in
No,
the
he
hero-
isn't.
the hero shot?
No, he isn't. Ant-Man is on. I don't know. Let us know. Before we end this bacon cast, let's figure out which side Ant-Man's on.
I'm trying because he's.
Why don't we just ask in the comments? That's our comment question. What side
Yeah.
do you think Ant-Man is on? Let's get the viewers' opinion.
Or if they've released the info, give us a link and let us know.
Yeah.
Where you,
Yeah, drop us a link, as in a literal link. Well, anyways, that was a good baking cast.
See you
We'll
guys
see you
next
guys
time.
next week.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Hit that
Peace.
subscribe button.
Bye.
Subscribe, like, comment. Let us know if you have any crazy topics you want us to talk about. Drop them in the comments below.